Hello, hello, and welcome to the first stream of this channel. And what is this channel about? This channel is about reading scientific articles to learn things and to improve our and my scientific literacy. So, this one today is nesting chinstrap penguins accrue large quantities of sleep through seconds long microsleeps. Pretty interesting. So we're just going to go through it. An animal's ability to engage adaptively with the environment during wakefulness depends on sleep, a state of environmental disengagement thought to perform restorative functions for the brain. As the time spent awake increases, so does the homeostatically regulated pressure to fall asleep. I'm going to mispronounce a lot of words. In humans, insufficient sleep, common in our 24/7 societies, leads to nodding off, the seconds long interruption of wakefulness by eye closure, sleep related electroencephalogram EEG activity. Okay, well, we're going to figure out what that is. Let me see how I do a new window here. Okay, so that is just an electroencephalogram is just a graph of your brain activity when you're asleep. Okay. And deactivation of brain networks involved in arousal. Such microsleeps can be maladaptive, especially when nodding off occurs while driving a motor vehicle. I've been guilty of that. Falling asleep while driving is scary. Even when microsleeps pose no threat, it is unclear whether they are long enough to provide any of the benefits of sleep. If microsleeps are more than a failed attempt to initiate sleep and do fulfill sleep functions, then relying on microsleeps might be an adaptive strategy under ecological circumstances that require constant vigilance. Okay. What are these numbers here? These references? Yeah, I think that's okay. Cool. The reduction in environmental awareness that defines sleep renders animals vulnerable to predation. Although animals can dilute this risk by sleeping in groups, the benefit is greatest for those in the center farthest from the approaching predators. Indeed, mallards switch from sleeping with both eyes closed and both cerebral hemispheres bihemispheric slow wave sleep when safely flanked by other birds sleeping hemispherically with one eye open and the contralateral hemisphere awake when exposed at the edge of the group. Wow, that's interesting. So they just find a group of ducks and put chips in their brains? Alright, I'm just going to see what this is here. Asymmetrical sleep. Wow, that's really interesting. Contralateral organization of the forebrain is the property of hemisphere. Wow. Contralateral brain. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of you having two sides of your brain that control different parts of your body. So that's really interesting. Okay, back to it. As sleeping at the edge is risky and results in lower quality unihemisphere slow wave sleep, Birds likely compete to obtain and defend a central position within the group, especially when nesting in colonies. However, in colonial birds, such as penguins, interspecific aggression from neighbors and disturbance from birds walking through the colony might have a negative impact on sleep. Given the threat from outside and the hustle and bustle within the colony, it is unclear whether nesting in the center of the colony leads to better sleep quantity or quality. We investigated sleep in chinstrap penguins nesting in a colony exposed to a predatory bird, the brown skua. Alright, let me get an image of what this is. Brown skua. Oh, yes. I recognize the brown skua from a David Attenborough documentary. Vicious predators eating penguins' eggs. On King George Island, Antarctica, during incubation, skuas are known to prey on penguin eggs mainly on the border of the colony. As one penguin parent must therefore guard the eggs or small chicks continuously while its partner is away. As one penguin parent must therefore guard the eggs or small chicks continuously while its partner is away on foraging trips lasting several days, they face the challenge of needing to sleep while protecting their offspring. In addition, they also have to effectively defend their nest site from intruding penguins. We examined sleep in 14 penguins incubating eggs in a colony during early December 2019. Using data loggers, figure 1A. Yup. These little guys strapped to the penguin's back. We measured sleep-related EEG activity from both cerebral hemispheres. The electromyogram from the neck muscles. Electromyogram. Looking this one up too. Alright. Electromyogram. That is cool. Body movements and posture with accelerometry location with GPS, figure 1C. 1B, okay, so 1B and 1C. And diving with a pressure sensor. BSWS and USWS were automatically scored using the hierarchical clustering and individual thresholding on EEG. Okay. Damn. So they really put a chip in these penguins' brains. And I guess here is them moving around the island off the coast of Antarctica. D to G. So this is recording their muscles on the back here, I think. Yeah, hold on. There's actually, you can see right here. EEG example. Okay, that's the example. E is a dendrogram. What is a dendrogram? Maybe we'll learn about it. In a subset of birds, video recordings were obtained at the nest to record sleep behavior. Bouts of rapid eye movement sleep, characterized by wake-like EEG activity, eye closure, and dropping of the head, were observed in video recordings, movie S2. However, in other birds, including penguins, the EMG did not reliably decrease during REM sleep. and REM sleep could only be distinguished from wakefulness when a bird was in the field of view of the camera. Consequently, we focused on slow wave sleep, the predominant type of sleep in birds, including penguins. Accelerometry was used to identify when the birds were lying or standing, figure 1H, and to identify periods of activity or inactivity. Okay, cool. Wow, that's not that much of a difference, but I guess between these spikes, you can tell if the penguin's laying down or standing up. Cool. The penguins exhibited normal nesting behavior, with the parents taking turns incubating for 22.06 plus or minus 14.72 hours. Range, okay. Yes, it's a wide range. And foraging at sea. Penguins undertook 1 to 9 foraging trips on average, reaching a distance of 34.01 plus or minus 39.66 kilometer. This does not make sense to me. Wouldn't the plus or minus have to be smaller than this number? KM 6 to, alright, I guess we'll just go with this. 6.26 to 129.68 kilometers from the colony, lasting, whoa, there's a lot of pictures, a lot more pictures than I thought. Lasting 9.43 plus or minus 8.11 hours. During these trips, the penguins frequently dove to a depth of around 52.75 meters, primarily during the day. After a foraging trip, the birds spent 11.43 hours on land near the coast or standing near the nest before returning to the nest to switch with their partners. Direct observations in accelerometry 2A and S4 reveal that the birds remained lying incubated for long hours while at the nest. Sleep occurred while standing or lying. As previously reported, in several bird species, video recordings revealed an association between slow wave sleep in a given hemisphere and closure of a contralateral eye. Contralateral eye. I might have to look this one up. Contralateral eye. This is crazy. So yeah, I guess your left eye is communicating with your right side of your brain and vice versa. Chinstrap penguins engaged in extremely short bouts of BSWS. I forgot what BSWS was. Short bouts of BSWS or USWS. I think we just do a control find. Go to the first one, it'll have it. Bihemispheric slow wave sleep. Okay. Were counted as a single bout of slow wave sleep. The bouts only lasted 3.91 seconds. Wow. The maximum slow wave sleep bout duration was 34.22 seconds. The majority, 71.94% of slow-wave sleep, was attained through bouts lasting less than 10 seconds. Despite engaging primarily in short bouts of slow-wave sleep, the penguins accumulated 14.92 hours of slow-wave sleep per day. Wow, so they're just like constantly going to sleep. 8.55 what is this? Sleep per day. This is just talking about the data here. I think this might be referring to this here. Oh, so here's the colony border. This is cool. Percentage of slow wave sleep, number of slow wave sleep bouts. So it looks like the border is having less of these short sleeps, and they're for longer, which is not what I would think. And here is this. The relationship between sleep and nest position with the colony. Example of nests located in the center, purple dots, and at the border, blue dots of the colony. Comparison of various sleep parameters between incubating birds nesting in the center or at the border of the colony. Maybe they'll have a conclusion, and they'll kind of break down what they think the data interprets here, or what the data is saying, I mean. Consequently, each hemisphere obtained between 11.5 and 12 hours of slow wave sleep per day. Wow. Although incubating and non-incubating penguins engaged in over 600 bouts of slow wave sleep per hour, incubating birds exhibited more slow wave sleep, consisting of more but shorter bouts than shorter bouts of the bihemispheric slow wave sleep, and more time in and bouts of unihemispheric slow wave sleep. A possible response to caring for the eggs. Nonetheless, both incubating and non-incubating birds slept better during the middle third of the day. Notably, sleep fragmentation and asymmetry were lower during the middle third, and slow wave sleep intensity was higher for both hemispheres during bihemispheric slow wave sleep, and for the sleeping hemisphere during the left or right unihemispheric slow wave sleep. The increased intensity and overall quality of the sleep during the day might be mediated by potential diel variation in activity of the skuas. The increased intensity and overall quality of sleep during the day might be mediated by potential diel variation. I do not know what diel variation is. In the activity of skuas. Diel variation in the activity of skuas. Diel variation in organisms' abundance or density over a 24-hour period due to the influence of water movement, physical or chemical changes, and changes in light intensity. Oh, okay. Interesting. Cool. However, in this case, one would expect the changes in sleep to be greater in the birds incubating and defending their eggs. Instead, environmental factors experienced by all birds likely influence the regulation of sleep intensity. To further investigate the potential impact potential impact that predation pressure has on sleep in chinstrap penguins, we compared sleep in birds nesting in the center of the colony with that of birds nesting more exposed to the skuas at the colony border. Nests were classified as either on the border or in the center, greater than 2 meters away from the border of the colony. Okay. Birds nesting at the border obtained more slow wave sleep. Yes, this is what I was saying. Didn't make why I thought it would be the opposite. Through fewer but longer bouts of slow wave sleep than those at the center of the colony. The maximum duration of slow wave sleep was also longer in birds incubating at the colony border. And birds at the border slept more deeply than those in the center. Also, none of the variables in unihemispheric slow wave sleep varied significantly as a function of nest position. Consequently, contrary to predictions based on mallards, bird nesting at the colony border slept better, more deeper, and less fragmented sleep than those nesting in the center, and they did not engage in more unihemispheric slow wave sleep. Cool. Let's see what these are here. So they're sleeping at sea too? Wow. Sleep during and after trips to sea. Example of We next examined the behavior of penguins at sea, focusing on trips of over 5 hours. Our accelerometry and depth data revealed quiet periods at the water surface when the only movement was apparently related to waves. Although movement artifacts often obscured the EEG in 3 birds. Whoa, okay. Hold up. What is this? Although movement artifacts often obscured the EEG in 3 birds, we were able to identify bouts of bihemispheric slow wave sleep and possibly REM sleep, but not clear bouts of USWS. And the identification of REM sleep was based on wake-like EEG activity, reduced muscle tone, and rotation along the lateral axis occurring immediately after bouts of SWS. As with bouts of REM sleep confirmed in the video on land, the episodes at sea only lasted a few seconds, and our accelerometry data show that despite being able to engage in BSWS and possibly REM sleep at sea, penguins spent more time actively awake while at sea than on land. Yeah, that makes sense. You don't want to get eaten by a sea lion. Finally, the time spent in SWS during the first 2 hours after returning from sea correlated with the time spent at sea. So these statistics stuff is going to mess me up. T statistic P.044, indicating that the penguins needed to recover some sleep of the sleep lost at sea, while the duration at sea was more than 20 hours. Longer sea recovery periods, 4 hours, did not reveal significant rebound, suggesting that recovery mostly occurs during the first hours after returning from sea. Although bouts of avian slow wave sleep are known to be short compared to those in mammals, the acquisition of slow wave sleep primarily through thousands of microsleeps lasting only 4 seconds is unprecedented, even among penguins. Captive, non-breeding emperor penguins also exhibit periods with frequent alternation between waking and slow wave sleep. EEG patterns called drowsiness. That's a very scientific way to define drowsiness by Boucher and colleagues that resemble microsleeps observed in chinstrap penguins. However, these emperor penguins were not found to spend only 14% of the time in a state of drowsiness, and they additionally spent 37.5% of the time in slow wave sleep characterized by bouts of continuous EEG slow waves lasting more than 4 minutes that occurred only 125 times a day. So they're sleeping a little bit longer. Similarly, little penguins recorded in small metabolic chambers exhibit bursts of slow wave sleep in a state called quiet wakefulness by Stahel and colleagues that resemble microsleeps in chinstrap penguins, but bouts of slow wave sleep lasted 42 seconds on average. The difference between sleep continuity in these penguins and chinstrap penguins is likely related to the recording context. Yeah. Captive and alone as opposed to wild in a colony, and the bird's reproductive state. Yeah. So this study here, they captured some penguins, threw a net on them, I guess, dragged them back to the lab, put chips in their brains. They're basically abducted by aliens, us being the aliens, and then put them out back in nature. Sleep in breeding chinstrap penguins was highly fragmented under all conditions and positions on land. This might reflect an overall state of anti-predatory vigilance linked to being in a reproductive physiological state. Although predatory skuas usually don't target nests at the border of penguin colonies, we cannot rule out the possibility that they sometimes also landed in gaps within the colony. Nonetheless, the predation pressure was still likely higher at the edge. Consequently, based solely off the findings in mallards, one would expect penguins at the border of the colony to sleep more poorly than those at the center. However, our findings suggest that penguins' already disrupted sleep patterns are disturbed even more by intraspecific interactions within the colony. This is likely driven by intraspecific aggression associated with stress, as well as noise in the center of the colony. So yeah, it's easier to sleep worrying about getting killed by a skua than it is worrying about your fellow penguin who's going to try to take your spot in the colony. It's like a metaphor. You got to worry about the people within. Although we did not directly measure the restorative value of microsleeps, the chinstrap penguin's large investment in microsleeps, characterized by potentially costly momentary lapses in visual vigilance, eye closure. Yeah, that's a great... costly momentarily lapses in visual vigilance, eye closure, and their ability to successfully breed despite sleeping in this highly fragmented manner suggests that microsleeps can fulfill at least some of the restorative functions of sleep. The momentary neuronal silence that gives rise to each slow wave might provide windows of neuronal rest and recovery, the benefits of which could accumulate irrespective of duration of slow wave sleep bouts. Accordingly, this may give animals the flexibility to partition sleep in short or long bouts depending on their ecological demands for vigilance. Yeah, I wonder if, when you're dreaming, you could feel like your dream could feel like you lasted a day, but only was a few minutes. So I wonder if, less than 4 seconds seems like there's no way they dream, but yeah. So I wish I didn't know there were videos. Otherwise I would have gotten the videos here to watch them. But there it is. Nesting chinstrap penguins are really good at sleeping. And right here are the authors of this article. Lee Burrell, I guess. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right, but he's the main author, the head author, I believe. And he or she. And yeah, so that's the first stream here. I'm not a scientist.